They built an island shaped like a palm tree in the middle of the ocean. It cost $12 billion. It took 100 million cubic meters of sand. And right now, a huge part of it is sitting almost completely empty. Not abandoned. Not forgotten. Empty by design. And that distinction is going to change how you think about wealth, ambition, and why so many people who can afford everything still end up with nothing that feels real. Palm Jumeirah was supposed to be the future. When Dubai announced it in 2001, the world genuinely did not believe it was possible. An artificial island the size of a small city, visible from space, built entirely from sand dredged from the floor of the Arabian Gulf. Engineers said it couldn't hold its own weight. Dubai built it anyway. And at first, it worked. Celebrities bought villas. The Atlantis Hotel opened with a party that reportedly cost $20 million in a single night. Paris Hilton was there. Fireworks. Spectacle. The images went everywhere. And the world looked at Palm Jumeirah and saw proof that money could literally reshape the earth. But here's what those images never showed you. Walk through certain stretches of Palm Jumeirah today and you will find streets where almost every villa sits dark. Driveways with no cars. Windows with no light. Properties that sold for millions, sitting untouched for years. Not because their owners lost money. Because their owners are never there. This is not a story about a failed real estate project. This is a story about what happens when something is built to be impressive instead of built to be lived in. And it explains something uncomfortable about a kind of life a lot of people are quietly chasing right now. Dubai understood one thing before almost anyone else. In the modern world, a city can be a product. You can engineer it. You can design it the same way you would design a phone or a watch or a logo. Make it aspirational enough, and people will buy into it not because they need it, but because of what owning a piece of it says about them. Palm Jumeirah was never really about housing people. It was about creating the world's most recognizable luxury address. And it succeeded. A villa on the Palm became shorthand for arrival. For making it. For a certain kind of life that people scroll past at 11 o'clock at night and feel a quiet ache about. But here is the part nobody talks about. A significant number of the people who own those villas do not live there. They come for a week or two, maybe once a year. Some have never spent a full month on the island in their entire ownership. The properties sit as assets. As status symbols. As very expensive proof of something they needed to prove to someone, maybe even to themselves. The villas are perfect. The kitchens are marble. The views hit the Dubai skyline in a way that makes your chest tight. And almost nobody is home. There is an entire class of neighborhood around the world that looks like aspiration from the outside and feels like a stage set from the inside. Places engineered for the photograph and not for the life. And Palm Jumeirah might be the most extreme, most expensive version of that pattern that has ever been built. Now ask yourself something. How much of what you're working toward right now is the life, and how much of it is the picture of the life? Because Dubai taught the world something by accident. It built the most photogenic address on earth and discovered that people would pay almost anything to be associated with it, even if they were never actually there. And that model has quietly spread into how a lot of people structure their entire sense of ambition. You work toward the thing that looks right. The city. The apartment. The job title. The trip. And sometimes you get there and the feeling lasts about 4 days, and then you're back on your phone looking at the next thing. That is not a flaw in you. That is what happens when you've been trained to pursue the image of a life and not the texture of one. Palm Jumeirah is still one of the most searched luxury destinations on earth. The hotels are full. The restaurants have long waiting lists. People fly in specifically to take pictures and absorb the feeling of proximity to that kind of wealth. And there is nothing wrong with that. Dubai is extraordinary. The engineering alone should stop you in your tracks. But the empty villas are real. The dark windows are real. And they mean something. They mean that even at the absolute ceiling of what money can construct, the thing most people actually want is not available for purchase. It is not a location. It is not an address. It is not a view. It is the feeling of being exactly where you are supposed to be, doing exactly what you are supposed to be doing, with people you actually want around you. That feeling does not have a price. And it does not show up on a map. The people who built Palm Jumeirah were geniuses at construction and marketing. What they built will genuinely outlast most things built this century. But the quietest truth about that island is this: the most valuable real estate in the world cannot buy you the one thing that makes any place worth living in. And if you have been feeling stuck lately, restless, like you are waiting for your life to begin once you get somewhere or achieve something or arrive at a version of yourself that finally makes sense, Palm Jumeirah is worth thinking about. Not because you should give up on wanting more, but because the life you actually want is probably far more available to you right now than you have been letting yourself believe. The island is real. The achievement is real. The price tag is real. The people who feel most at home there are the ones who were already at home before they arrived. And that is the part that gets buried under every luxury travel video, every aspirational reel, every perfectly lit shot of an infinity pool with the skyline behind it. Nobody shows you the Tuesday. Nobody shows you the expat sitting alone in a $10 million villa scrolling the same apps you scroll, eating takeout from a styrofoam box, wondering why the views stop feeling like anything after the third week. Nobody shows you the quiet that comes after the novelty runs out and real life shows up anyway, because real life always shows up. It follows you to Dubai. It follows you to Bali. It follows you to every destination that looked like the answer from a distance. This is not pessimism. This is the most freeing thing you will hear today. Because if the place was never going to save you, then you are not behind. You are not missing something that everyone else secretly has. You are exactly where the work begins. The people who actually thrive in places like Palm Jumeirah are not the ones who arrived empty and hoped the address would fill them. They are the ones who brought something real with them. A purpose. A craft. A reason to wake up that has nothing to do with how the morning looks. That is what the $12 billion could not build. That is what no architect on earth has ever successfully designed. And the good news, the actual good news, is that it was never for sale in the first place. Which means it was always yours to build.